Good evening, everybody. My name is Jessica. I work in International Programs and Engineering. Welcome. We're glad to see so many faces here for the presentation on International Internships for Engineers. If you have not had a chance to sign in, do note that there are a couple of sign-in sheets at the back of the room there. Please be sure that you sign in. This would ensure that we would include you on any follow-up materials, the slides from tonight, as well as announcements of other opportunities for work and internships abroad that are going to come up throughout the semester and this year as well. So I'm going to get started. I'm sure students will be filtering in as we go through, but we have a lot of material to cover and a lot of things to go over with you. So we also want to give you some time for Q&A towards the end as well. Without further ado, this is the panel for tonight. So as I mentioned, my name is Jessica from IPE. We have Kelsey here from the ECRC, the Engineering Career Resource Center. We have a number of past participants who will speak on the Cultural Vistas and Aiesec program, followed by Rachel from the LSNA International Internship Office, as well as a representative from Aiesec, which is a student org that helps students to get into international internships as well, and some past participants who will be speaking about their experiences, which actually tie in well with the other presentations that we'll be having tonight. Okay, so I will begin by just giving a quick overview of International Programs in Engineering and what our role is in terms of helping you to find your internships abroad. So the main thing with IP's role is we advise on resources to find international internships. How many in here have been onto the Work Abroad website? Ooh, not too many. How many of you in here even knew that there was a Work Abroad website? You're going to know by the end of tonight. Okay, so the Work Abroad website is actually co-managed by IPE and the ECRC. There are a number of resources that are on there which you will be able to refer to after tonight's presentations. So another place is we can connect you with past participants. A number of the presenters for tonight, as I mentioned, are past participants. Many of them are really, really open to talking with you one-on-one so that you can learn about what their process was, how they went about their searching, and what the experience they had was, which organization, which company, etc. I am also going to highlight that there is some funding that's available to the College of Engineering. There is an International Internship Scholarship, which I'll talk about in just a second, as well as just a couple of things that you should keep in mind if and when you do procure that international internship. There are a couple of requirements that the College of Engineering has. It has to do with your health and safety, and just ensuring that we know where you are in the world in case something happens. So I will highlight those for you. But IPE remains a place for you to come if you ever have questions about this sort of stuff. So the COE International Internship Scholarship, actually the two past participants at the end of today's presentations are both recipients of this. There are 10 awards for $1,000 each. The application goes through Compass. How many of you in here have used Compass? You've studied abroad? Okay, great. So Compass, I'll show you what that is, but it's essentially an application system that we use. So you can do the application with that. And as well, just keep in mind that it will open in January, February, and it closes about mid-March. Okay, those COE requirements that I was talking about, there are two of them. The first one is that you have to ensure that you have your HTA travel health insurance. This is really important in the event that you have something that happens to you when you're abroad and you need to seek some medical assistance, but it's also really good to have in the event that you might need to be evacuated for some reason. So IPE, again, we have information online on how you can purchase this. It's very cheap. It's $5 registration and $1.10 a day. And just for that peace of mind so that you know that you're covered in the event that you might need to have your appendix taken out or something like that, which happened this past summer actually. It's good to have this as one of those pre-departure things that you have done. The second one is to register your experience. On our website, you see the websites, the links are on the bottom there, but that's another big important thing. Once you do procure your internship, it is a requirement of the college for you to register your experience. And this is not because we're trying to be Big Brother, it's because we want to ensure that you are going to be safe if we need to contact you, but also so that the College of Engineering can have a sense of where are students going and why and for what sort of purpose. And we can connect with you later on to perhaps come and do presentations like this in the future. Okay, so that's the main spiel for now from IPE, but I'll turn it over to Kelsey from ECRC.
So there are several different ways to go about finding international opportunities. So one of the big ones is utilizing the resources right here. So University of Michigan has quite a few options for you. There's also placement organizations, which we'll explain in just a minute, additional resources and networking. So this is also to give you an idea how our Work Abroad website is organized, so keep that in mind. First one is ENGenius.jobs. Does everyone have an ENGenius.jobs account? Does everyone know what ENGenius.jobs is? Okay, good. So we actually tried to make this really easy for you. If you go to the job posting area, there's an international tab. So this groups all of the international experiences together, full-time and internship opportunities. There's also an area within the advanced search. So if you wanted to take a look for a specific industry, let's say you're looking for banking in France, or an international banking experience, you could do that through the advanced search area. Placement organizations. So typically there's a fee associated with the placement organizations, but they provide a variety of services, including the placement. So it's a lot of resources while you are abroad. So housing, travel, any permits or visas, they're typically a good resource for that. A lot of times they're on the ground with you, so if anything happens, they're there. There are also a couple of placement organizations here tonight, so you can learn more information about that. Some of those additional resources. So the library actually has a subscription to a couple different websites, My World Abroad and Going Global. So just to give you an idea of the resources there, there's information about what it's like to work in these different countries. There's also job postings available. So it divides up job boards by categories. There's also information about interning abroad in the different areas for that. And it does have an engineering or technical section. So if you're interested in getting engineering experience, there's an option for that. Going Global has a job and internship tab. Again, it has an advanced search. So if there's a field you're looking for, a specific industry or country, this is where you go to do that.
So we'll do a little demo for you, how you can do your own search.
Yeah. As you can see, there's quite a variety of locations. There's 10 pages of listings. So there's a lot of opportunities on this site. It is going to be a mix, so there will be technical and non-technical positions, so specify a keyword search if that's what you're interested in. Another thing that I want to note are the country guides. So if there's a specific country that you're interested in, or if you have questions about what it would be like to work and live in another country, these are great resources. They are built up by people that actually live in that area, so it is really accurate information. Any questions on resources so far?
I will add as well those particular resources that Kelsey just highlighted, Going Global, My World Abroad, and ENGenius.jobs. From the Work Abroad website, actually, if you look on the left side, there are quick links, and they're all available there for you in quick links. So it's meant to be very easy for you to find and very immediate for you. Okay.
There have also been some students that have found positions through people that they know. So think about family friends, think about your family, think about alumni. Are those people that you can use as connections to learn more about these types of positions or what it's like to work abroad? So I would strongly encourage you to create a LinkedIn account if you haven't done so already. It's a free service. There are job postings, there's company information. You can connect for informational interviews through the alumni group. So it can be a really good resource for something like this. Just a couple notes. So the Work Abroad website that we mentioned, there's also Compass, which has been mentioned before, again, for studying work abroad positions. So these two websites will be really good starting points for you if you're looking for international positions.
So we're going to transition into the next presentation, which is for Culture Vistas and Aiesec. One thing that I will explain is, so Culture Vistas and Aiesec, we heard us talking about placement organization. Culture Vistas is a placement organization. However, at the University of Michigan, we're quite lucky. We have a main coordinator here who's based in the German department. Her name is Peggy. You're going to get a contact information towards the end of this particular presentation. But she is the main contact for any student who's going to apply for something in Culture Vistas and Aiesec. And I would say from my observations of internships that students, engineering students are going on, this is one of the most popular ways or most common ways that engineering students are going abroad. So we are going to have 3 presentations then. So we have Dan is going to speak about the Michigan Summer Internship Program in Germany. Just by show of hands, who in here is interested in going to Germany? Okay, cool. In Europe in general, perhaps? Okay, cool. So Culture Vistas, while they do have a program that's pretty focused on Germany, they actually have other programs in other parts of Europe and South America. But then also Aiesec, who you'll get to hear about, they have connections in 80 different countries. So even though we might be talking about Germany specifically, it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be going there. There are different other options. The second presenter will be Chase. He actually went on Culture Vistas fellowship program, which is actually a pretty difficult program to get into. So it'll be interesting to hear from him about that experience. And then we have Brianna, who was one of our recipients of the COE scholarship, and she will talk about her experience with Aiesec.
Hey everyone, I'm Dan Hoekstra, and I'm a senior in mechanical engineering. And I'm here to talk to you about the MSIP program, or the Michigan Summer Internship Program in Germany. It's kind of a mouthful, but the shortening helps. So I actually found out about this program in this very room a year ago, probably around this week last year. So it's pretty cool for me to be up here on the other side of it, and I'm guessing some of you will be up here next year presenting about your time. So I went on this program and I landed in Friedrichshafen, Germany, at a company called ZF. And if you're not familiar with them, they're essentially an automotive parts supplier. They're a huge global company. And I was working in the heavy truck division, working on transmissions, specifically power takeoff units. So my time there was amazing to put the least. It was an awesome experience for me. So I have some pictures here of me and some of the things I did. So that on the left is me and my roommates. Zach on the right, he also did the same program that I did. So he's also from Michigan. And then Stefan on the left, and he was a German there that I had met. So that's in Switzerland. We were hiking in the Alps. The one on the right was something called Klettersteig, and it's essentially like rock climbing on these steel cables. And it's probably not the safest thing, but it was awesome. And then, of course, the World Cup was this summer, and that was just an amazing experience being in Germany. And so that's before the Brazil game. Very good game. So I'll tell you a little bit about the actual program and application. So this program is specific for Germany. So a lot of you raised your hands about going to Germany. I definitely would recommend this program because it's just for internships in Germany, and that gives you a huge range of opportunities there. So it's for all U of M students. I'm assuming all of you guys go to U of M, so that shouldn't be a problem. And the application is due December 1st. And if you go to the link I provided there, that has the list of everything you're going to need. I put some of the things there, but it goes longer than that. So definitely go to the website and make sure you have all those materials. So some of the things are like letters of recommendation, definitely be thinking about that as the deadline is coming up. And then there's a $75 application fee as well. And then there's also the email there if you have any questions. And also, Jessica mentioned Peggy is also, she's the one who runs this program, so asking her questions is also a good idea. So why do this program? For me, part of it was increasing my German language competency. I had lived in Germany when I was young, and so I have some background in German. But what's cool about the program is some of the people that went on it had spoken essentially no German or had very little experience. And then there's someone like me who had more experience with it, but everyone can do it, and no matter where you are, you can always increase your proficiency. I spoke German at work and at home, so it really helped me out. There's a great support system that Culture Vistas has. Things like pre-departure orientation, making sure that you know what you're doing, that you're not just going to land in Germany and have no idea what you're doing. They do help you with housing. Housing is something that you have to figure out yourself, but you can always fall back on them if you're struggling or you can't find something. Caveat, I was homeless for like 2 days, but it all worked out and it was awesome. It was a learning experience for me. So you guys were up. Fellow participating students I mentioned, one of my roommates was also did the program. And there was like 5 other people at the same company, so it was really awesome being with them and sort of that community there. And they also have an orientation in Berlin that they offer a free night in a hotel. I didn't attend that, but a lot of people go to that. So it's another thing. And then there's a lot of scholarship opportunities that was also mentioned. There's like 6 or 7 at least. I was fortunate to get the Heinz Prechter Tribute Scholarship, and you'll get all the information on that when you apply to the program and get accepted. And then the Department of Germanic Languages and Literatures also has funding. And then, so just overall, like, it's a challenge. I was pretty terrified of doing this. A year ago, I had no idea what I was getting into, but I really recommend it. Like, if you're in this room, you're probably thinking about doing something abroad, definitely do it, make it happen, because it's totally worth it. And that's all I have.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Chase Griffith. I am a junior in chemical engineering, and over this past summer, I participated in the Cultural Vistas Fellowship program, and I'll be able to tell you about that. Okay, so what is the Cultural Vistas Fellowship? It's the same umbrella company as the program that you just heard about, except it's much, much smaller. This past go-around was only its 2nd year in existence, and we only had 10 people. And the first year that they had it, there weren't very many applicants at all, but the 2nd year they started to get more people finding out about it. I imagine there'll be even more this 3rd time around, but the spaces are still going to be limited to probably that same number. This past year and the year before, interns were sent to Germany, Argentina, and Singapore. However, this year, the internships are going to be happening in Argentina, Germany, and India. So there's going to be one country switch there. The eligibility, it is highly, Culture Vistas makes it sound like it's an absolute, but they're looking for applicants that don't have previous study or work abroad experience. So with me personally, I'd only worked in the States. I'd never worked outside the state of Michigan. And I've grown here my whole life, and so I was actually kind of a good applicant for the program because they're looking for people like myself to apply. Depending on what country that you're looking to go to, you have to have some knowledge of the language, except for India. For India, no knowledge of any language other than English is required. But if you're interested in going to Germany or Argentina, you have to have some experience with Spanish or German. Now, that's not to say that you have to be completely fluent or anything silly like that. My German is awful. It's still awful. I worked on it a lot while I was there, so to be fair. But I got to use it a lot while I was there, and I'm certainly a lot better at it than I was. But I had only taken, I think, 4 years of classes, and besides that, I hadn't really had any real experience with it. So the program is marketed toward rising juniors and seniors, and that's something that they're not really going to flinch on. Really, juniors, upcoming fall, yeah, before this next summer, juniors and seniors. My personal placement, the way it worked was I attended an event very similar to this one on Central Campus, and Peggy was running it, and we were hearing about the different programs that Cultural Vistas runs, and I heard about this one, and I thought it sounded pretty cool, and so I went ahead and followed through all the steps to apply when the time came, and I was placed with a company called the Leibniz Institute for Gewässerekologie und Binnenfischerei, which is freshwater ecology and inland fisheries. And it was kind of like a research institution, which is not really my background, but it was kind of fun to be able to be involved with something that was different for me. And I actually really enjoyed working there. A lot of my time in Germany, I was kind of, not really feeling anything out, but they did a great job with my placement and just finding a company that would be a good place to work for. And I was placed at this institution because the focus of the fellowship last year was sustainability. However, the focus this year is entrepreneurship and innovation. So if that's the type of field that you're interested in and have a background in, then you would definitely be a more attractive applicant for the fellowship. My personal job was I analyzed freshwater samples in a microscope, and there were a lot of projects that we did that were sort of based off of that. And you can see that I actually got outside the office pretty often, which is fun. We made things that essentially just became called things. That's all that they became known as. And there was that for both languages, German and English. They were just known as things. We got to go work in the Spree River that runs right through Berlin, which was really fun. And we got to follow it out way out in the country in Brandenburg. And that giant mountain down there is actually a pile of duckweed that was fished out of a river, so out of the pond. So that was a lot of duckweed that we spent the day fishing out. And yeah, my time in Berlin, I got to see a lot. So that's another great thing of being able to work abroad is you got to learn for yourself to actually do a little bit of exploring. And I got to go outside the city a little bit too. Prague, Potsdam, which is not that far from the city, and Lutherstadt. So important things that you need to know about the fellowship is that what sets the fellowship apart from a lot of other programs is that the internships that you were placed in are not paid, but your transportation to and from Germany is paid for, or the other country, sorry. Your transportation is paid for, your living situation is paid for, so I was set up with an apartment, I had a roommate in Berlin and that was taken care of. And so really the only financial thing that you're responsible for with the fellowship is your own food and entertainment, really. And I've got to think if there's anything else really. There's a security deposit if you are selected to be one of the fellows. There's a security deposit of $200 that you put forward, and what that is for is once you've completed your internship, which I have, you then will complete something called a Fellows in Service project. And that project will be, you've got to find some way of giving back to the community based on your experience in Germany. And this is actually a good time for me to be giving this presentation because I'm actually going to complete mine next week when I go back to the high school that I graduated from and give a presentation on my time in Germany to German students there. The internships themselves run from late May to late July, so it's only an 8-week program, and so if that's something that you're interested in, that helps out. The way it works is you actually things don't really get the ball rolling for this until January. And I wish I could give you some official date for when they want applications and things like that, but like I said, it's a smaller program, so Cultural Vistas right now doesn't really have a date set up for it. If that changes, it will be on the Cultural Vistas website, and the fellowship is very prominently displayed out there, so you'll be able to find it. But yeah, basically you just make sure you have all your things ready in January and apply, and they'll give you an email with if you were accepted or not in February or March, and then you begin an online learning component where you begin learning about the country itself. For me, it was issues of sustainability, but the issues of entrepreneurship and innovation instead. And yeah, from there, there's a seminar in New York City, so like orientation and things like that, to give you an idea of what you're getting yourself into. And then you split off. So we sent 4 people to Germany, 4 people to Singapore, and 2 to Argentina. And then once you arrive there, I can only speak from the German side. We had another orientation in Berlin with a lot of the other Cultural Vistas groups that were there, so we understood more about German workplace culture and things like that, which is completely different. And you complete your internship, and then you have a re-entry seminar in New York City, and then you return home. And so basically the best advice that I can give you is if you're interested in this, honestly you've got a little bit of time to think about it, because things don't really start for this until January. And so I would recommend looking at other programs as well, figuring out what you're interested in. But if you've got a good background in entrepreneurship and innovation, I would strongly recommend the program. It's nice to have a lot of the financial aspects of it taken care of. As long as you can take care of your own food and things like that, you're set. And Peggy is an excellent resource for all of this. I can't say enough about how helpful she was when I applied for all of this, and I certainly wouldn't have gone on the trip without her. So if you have questions, definitely be in contact with her. She loves taking the questions, or at least she gave me that feeling. So thank you all for coming, and listen to what I have to say.
Hi guys, my name is Rihanna. So I did the Aiesec program in Croatia. Does anyone know where Croatia is? Probably not. It's east of Italy. So for the Aiesec, how did I hear about it? One of the IP newsletters we get every week. So I'm sure it'll be starting to go there when the day's coming out. So College has like a mini sub-program called Aiesec. Most of the internships are 8 to 12 weeks. But the thing is, you have to get access to the application, so you send them like a little email of like, hey, do I meet the requirements? If you do, you fill out this application. It's like 3 times for college almost. It's really annoying. But then an internship list comes out, and that's when you know if you want to do any of that. That comes out, I think, in February. And then, but the thing is, if you have to write a cover letter for each one of them, so you have like up to 5 options. You have 1 week to write 5 cover letters, so it's kind of the rush to do it all. And then based on that, they will have an interview and ask you about your 5 options, and then they kind of like confirm with the company like if any of them want you to actually take your resume. They are paid, so that your housing is covered and like food is covered, but like as far as transportation from like America to whichever country you end up going to, that comes out of your pocket. And so I was paid $3.40 an hour, which is nothing here, but in Croatia it was just fine. So what did I do in Croatia? I worked for a regional energy agency. They do energy efficient and sustainable development projects. I was actually, even though I'm majoring in mechanical engineering, I did a lot of technical writing. So I wrote a lot of things for their website. Newsletters, I worked on project proposals, I visited project sites, and the company, or the agency was only like 6 people, so I got to see how everything worked with them, and learned a lot about project management. Oh yeah, and here is where Croatia is, so there's Italy, and there's Croatia, for everyone who needs the article to listen real quick. So this is mostly in Dubrovnik, which is the southern part of Croatia. Does anyone watch Game of Thrones? Yay! Okay, so that's this walled city is King's Landing, so everyone knows who that is. Croatia is like one of the friendliest cat areas. All the cats are really nice. The cats, the cat person. This picture with the cow is probably confusing, but there's a city in Croatia called Vistas, and it has like all these cool legends. The legend was how they got rid of weeds on the roofs. They would pretty much look like a cow onto their roofs. So there's a bunch of other legends, but that's just one of them. So tips, you have to be patient. Like if you're looking at other internships, you're not going to hear for sure until like the end of your second semester. So if you haven't found anything by then and you're not really sure, or if you have found something then and you're not sure if this is going to work out, just know that you're not going to know until the very end, essentially. Be flexible, because when the internship list comes out, there's only a few options for each major. So like maybe for mine there's maybe 10, you have 5 to choose, like you can choose up to 5. Also be able to quickly adapt. I live in a cubicle environment. They actually asked me if that was a real thing in America. Don't afraid to be yourself. I know like people think Americans have a bad rep, but if you're trying to cover up that you're American, you're still going to end up doing weird American things. And they really don't care. They'll laugh at you maybe, but it's all good fun. Travel and try new things. Don't just stay where you are. Go and travel to other countries, and you might as well if you're already there. It's much cheaper instead of trying to fly out at different times in the summer or something. Also apply for scholarships. I was one of the people who got international internship scholarship for $1,000, and that definitely helped me get paid for part of the travel to get there. That is all, so I'll go back to Jessica.
Great, thank you. So, we keep speaking about this fabulous Peggy. So actually, she's actually on maternity leave, which is why she's unable to be here. Otherwise, she would have loved to have been here. But she was able to send some great representatives. That said, I did get an email from her saying that she's back on email a lot more regularly, so feel free to contact her. That's her email address. I don't think she's in the office, so maybe don't give her a call. But you can, send her a message, tell her who you are, how you found out about the program, which one you might be interested in, and she will gladly give you some more advice on the application process, etc. Okay, so we're gonna switch gears and go to the LSA International Internship Office. Rachel.
Hi everybody, my name is Rachel Cristo. I'm with LSA, and I run the LSA International Internship Program, but it is not only for LSA students. We place students from throughout the university and place many engineers, including Nabil, who's going to speak to you in a little bit. Let's see, what do we got? Yep, some fantastic pictures of people all over the place. Who's eligible to do this program? Oh, it's anybody except for if you are going to be graduating in May. And if you're a senior right now, then you're not eligible, but you still need to be a student of the university when you travel. Otherwise, everybody else is fair game. What have we got? We've got internships abroad. And we have all kinds of internships. We have internships for engineers, we have internships for Ross students, we have internships for people who want to go and teach English rather in some locations, or people that are doing nursing or pre-med, the whole gamut in lots and lots of different countries. Where do we go? Here are the countries that we're in right now. We're also adding Ireland this year. We added we added India last year also. So we're moving all the time. We place students in different ways. We use placement companies that you've been hearing about. We actually use Cultural Vistas also. Cultural Vistas places students in Spain and Argentina, and they do that through our office. So it's the same company, same kind of process, although you will go through a little language test just to see where your Spanish is at, to see whether they can place you. Then we also place students through kind of our historical, we've had this program for almost 15 years now. So we have lots of contacts over the year, lots of networking. But one of my favorite ways to place students is through U of M alumni. And you know how big that alumni base is. It's 500,000 plus. And they want nothing more than to help you guys. They want to mentor you. And they want to meet you, and they want to take care of you and show you these beautiful countries they live in. So we're working really hard on working with our international alumni. And I'll talk a little bit more about that when I talk about the second program that I'm going to introduce afterwards. And just to go back to the country thing, it's like, do I need to be able to speak a foreign language? That came up earlier. If you go to France, and we have a lot of internships in France and French-speaking countries, you are going to need some French. If you go to Spain, you are going to need some Spanish. Most of the other countries, you do not need to have a foreign language, just so you know that. If you do happen to have French or Spanish, you may be eligible to get credit for your internship. There are programs in both of those languages to get 3 credits for your internship. So keep that in mind. If your French is pretty good or your Spanish is pretty good. These are all summer. If you're going to Europe, most of it shuts down during August, so there's nothing much going on then. So we try and send students out beginning of May, and they're usually home by the end of July, pretty much. Although there are some that go, all the way through the summer. The LSA International Internship Program application is going to open on November 1st, and it will close on December 15th. After that point, we'll begin the process of placing everybody. There's the website up there. It looks kind of long, but if you just type in the English box, intern abroad, it will pop up. In that website, we list every single country and every single position that we have in those countries. So you can and they kind of, uniform, name of position, country, duration, visit pay, what's the housing situation. and then a job description, and then even a desired student profile. So that you'll get a really good feeling for what you're applying for. So you want to take a good look at that. So you can kind of see there Morocco, different location, company, etc. But then the actual application is through Compass because trying to uniform these days. So it is not a very complicated application. You do not need letters of recommendation, although you will need to upload your resume. That's better. And you'll refer back to the LSA website for the placements, so you will put in your preferences as you apply through Compass. Again, the timeline, we open November 1st, we close December 15th. You should know what you're doing sometime late February, early March. So, the second program I'm going to talk about has a little bit more directly to do with engineering. Kelsey had to leave, but Kelsey and I and some other people have received the grant from the university to really increase the University of Michigan's undergraduate population presence in India. So we have some funding to help support the students that are selected to go. We're hoping to send at least 15 students this coming summer. And this program, as I mentioned, our kind of alumni model, it's based completely on that. So you will be working with the U of M alumni. We had 2 students go last summer, our kind of pilot year. Fantastic opportunities and fantastic experiences. I'm going to be going to India next month, sourcing more internships for you guys with U of M alumni. So we're hoping that we can, send 10, maybe even 15 students this summer. Where are we going to be? We're going to be in Mumbai, Delhi, and Bangalore. What are the benefits? I don't think I really need to tell you the benefits of working abroad. It's not only is it a fantastic thing for your resume, but also it's an incredible personal experience. It sets you apart from other students, or other job seekers when you're finished here. This idea of connecting with alumni is incredible because you're an immediate network of people that you know. And you're going to learn so much about the countries that you go to, well, in this case, India. Maybe a little bit of language, probably not that much. And your interpersonal skills. The difference with this program and the last program I explained is this is only an Compass. So you're going to need one-stop shopping because you have to have a whole, the other program we placed 70 students last year. This program, as I mentioned, is going to be between 10 and 15 this summer. So everything is in Compass. So just open up Compass and type in India. This program will pop up, and it's LSA and engineering right there. And again, the deadline is December 15th. It opens November 1st. Same deal. Who picks who goes? The employers. So you see who you think you'd like to go to, and we send your resume to them. They'll interview probably via Skype, and they make the decision to make the offer. And we have about $1,500 per student that's going to go. Okay, thank you. There's no program fee for either of those.
Yeah. Hi guys, my name's Rifty. I am Orifayat. I'm a junior studying aerospace engineering and currently a member of Aiesec.
Yeah, my name is Justin. I'm actually an LSA, but I did an Aiesec internship in Colombia over the summer. I was out there for 10 weeks.
Cool. So a little bit about Aiesec. What are we? We're the world's largest student organization present in 124 countries. If, like any of the countries in blue in this map, we're present there. And we're growing every year. We just added our 125th expansion this summer in a conference in Taiwan, which was really cool. And our alumni is over 1 million. We have more alumni than the University of Michigan does, which is cool. Yeah, and it's completely student-run, with opportunities for students, raised by students, managed by students, and it's really cool. Awesome. So how exchange works is, I'm just going to go through real quick. Other local chapters around the world raise internships for students in other parts of the world, and then we promote them to students in America. recent. What makes an Aiesec experience different? You can tell a little more because you
Yeah. So in my experience, I was doing a teaching project. So I was teaching Spanish to older adults. So I was just teaching reading, writing. In my experience, like by far the best note was the support network I had. So when I arrived there, I had 7 Colombian students pick me up from the airport, take me to my host family, introduce me, and then take me to work the next day, get me oriented with the city of Bogota, which is enormous. I don't know if any of you have been there, but it's around like 9 million people, so it's enormous. That also involves going to bars, watching other people's houses, showing you around the city, taking you to museums, literally everything you can think of that you'd expect of somebody to receive you as if you were visiting a friend in another city. And it was just, I think that enabled me to really grow as a person because they also act as my support network. Whenever I needed them, people were there. There was actually a team that was devoted to quality of the interns. So if there was issues with housing, which there weren't, if there was issues with my work, literally anything I could go to them and we'd hang out every single day after my work. So that was their job.
We have 2 exchange programs specifically for students. One is the Global Citizen, which is, wow, I messed up. Anyway, the Global Citizen is the volunteer opportunities. This is going to be switched. The Global Talent is going to be professional development opportunities. Global Citizen is basically geared towards freshmen and sophomore who don't have a lot of experience. And Global Talent is more towards like juniors, seniors, or even like recent graduates. If you have graduated from the university and like want to go abroad, you have 2 years till your graduation to go abroad for Aiesec. Some of our subproducts under Global Citizen, you can pretty much go to any of the 124 countries if you want to be a part of the Global Citizen program. They are unpaid, but they are, your housing, your food, all that stuff is covered.
So I got lunch every day at my workplace, which is fantastic and breakfast like through my host mother, and usually dinner through my host mother too, just because it was like a common courtesy of me living there as a family member. So.
Also, you work with other Aiesecers or like other people who are coming from different parts of the world, so it's like you're working with like a bunch of other people.
Yeah, in my project, I was the only American. There was 20 people. There was 15 Venezuelans, 2 Peruvians, Mexicans, and it was just. And that enabled my Spanish to grow enormously because I basically did not speak any English except for when I didn't understand like 1 or 2 things. So.
But the major, a big program that we're promoting this fall is the Global Talent Program. And so we have 3 subproducts under the Global Talent Program, and one of which is information or IT, information technology, and then marketing and teaching. Teaching is big, so is marketing, but for engineers, I assumed information technology was like the best to promote. We're promoting India, Brazil, and some opportunities in Germany. I hear a lot, I saw a lot of people raise their hands for Germany. And our website for every global talent opportunity is talent.icqs.org. So if you go there, you can just look around, see what's up. Yeah, and one of our biggest programs that we're pushing this year is, how many of you have heard of Tata Consultancy Services? Cool. Tata is one of our global partners with Aiesec, and we're looking for IT interns who can go abroad, who can work with Tata for 6 to 12 months. So yeah, it's longer than the usual programs. They're not like summer. Global Talent is more like long-term based. And some benefits of working with Tata is their intern program is called the ACE program, and we've had over 1,000 Aiesec interns who've been employed by Tata over the last few years, of them being our partner. Actually, we just celebrated 10 years of our partnership with them this summer, which is cool. They cover, these are all benefits. The good thing about Tata is you get to go to a bunch of conferences called the ACE conference. You're all called ACERs if you're enrolled in that program. And Aiesec in India supports in pickup, taxi, temporary accommodation until they'll help you find your accommodation when you get there. And you get paid as well. So all that stuff. And yeah, TCS India covers your return ticket upon completion of your internship. The internships are starting for fall, so these are more 12-month based, and it started now, but we're taking applicants now to see when you can go abroad and all that stuff. We're looking for 2 specific kinds of job descriptions. So one is more service desk analyst with like major in IT and stuff. And that's like longer term for senior studying or recently graduated people. And the Java developer, which is like 6 months, 1 to 6 months of working experience. And yeah, major, excellent English, all that stuff. And they must be adept in Java and JavaScript. We have a specific website for just the opportunity with Tata. It's called India.ICP.org. And we're, the good thing about Tata too is like if you're working with them and if they really like you, they're probably gonna hire you afterwards. So like that's like the benefit. Like you can work with Tata Consultancy Services full time after your internship, which is cool. This is a little bit about the pricing structure. I don't know if you guys were interested in knowing, probably you were. Just Justin, in this.
Yeah, so you, in order to get onto the database, which has, and I think something that's wonderful about Aiesec is that you have constantly rotating internships because things are posted every day. So right now there's probably what, like 10,000 opportunities, and they vary from like what I did, which was teaching, to working for a firm like Tata, and so there's an enormous like wealth of opportunities. So you pay $150, that gives you access to the database for a year. And then once you're matched, then you guys would probably be in for Global Talent, which is the $500 one. Now that means you're going to be paid for your internship, so the cost would be covered anyways. So that's after you've been matched and you're basically all set to go before you take off from the States and go to wherever country you're in.
We do have a lot of internship opportunities in Brazil, Germany, and for India specifically, if you go to the India.ICP.org, that website, it has like an application there, so like you would have to fill that out and that asks for your resume. How the internship with Tata is working is we get your resumes, we send like a bunch of them to Tata, they're gonna look through your resume, interview you, if they like you, that's when we get you on the database and match you. So it's like a lot more different compared to the other ones. For the others, we usually like get you on the database, make you like, we look through opportunities with you, and then like you match, and all that stuff happens. Anything else? Oh yeah, this is important. We also provide insurance through Aiesec. It's not Aiesec. Sounds similar, we're not the same. And yeah, these are some of the internships, like applications. Our deadline is more priority deadline, which is the 24th of October, so we want you to like apply or like interested, just like let us know. You don't have to get on the database by this date, you just have to like go and put all your information and stuff, and we'll like get in touch with you as soon as possible. Whenever you're going abroad, we always give you like one EP manager. An EP is an exchange participant, and we give you like one manager who helps you through your process. Justin was an EP manager too, and he also went abroad. So you've seen both sides of like the exchange experience. Yeah, and if you have any questions, you can go to ICP.org, all these stuff. I'm pretty sure it's going to be mailed to everyone.
Yeah, those are the slides.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we're going to take the opportunity to give you a few more perspectives from some past participants. So we have Neil, who is going to talk about his time in Turkey. And as I mentioned, he went through the LCA International Internship Program.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Neil Kassim. I'm a senior in Industrial and Operations Engineering, and hopefully I'll be back here for a master's degree next week. I did my internship with INGenius.jobs Asset Management in Istanbul, Turkey, which took place through the LSNA Internship Office, which Rachel was talking about. So I think last year I started my application around like the November, December timeframe, just like Rachel had said. And I was actually recommended to pursue LSNA internships from Vistas, which was really nice. And it turned out that, once I got the internship and stuff, they were very flexible with start dates. I was actually able to get 2 programs to fit into that short 16 weeks. So I did another program through ITE after the Istanbul internship. So that's that. I put this map up here because it became very useful to me when I was in Istanbul. Wherever you go, if you find the subway map, then you should be good to go in terms of traveling between places. It's pretty easy to find things. So what I did at INGenius.jobs, I was working in their collection office where they were working on refinancing non-performing loans, which affected the overall performance of Turkey's economy. So basically what they had me do, it was basically like an internal small consulting job for, I think it was 7 weeks. And they gave me projects here and there on top of the main project, which was just to provide best practices of companies all over the world, which were similar to the asset management company that they had running. So I was, on top of that, I did some forecasting analysis and stuff like that. So that's what I did in the office. They were really laid back in terms of, what, when I had to get things done, they trusted all of us. I traveled with another student who was an econ major, and we were working together a lot. So they kind of just let us do our own thing, and we had a few deliverables at the end, and as long as we got that done, we were good to go. I put a picture of the lunch card that we got. So basically, they gave us a lump sum of money for our internship, and we would use that money to go to lunch every day. For the days that we got off, we were still able to use that card in other places around Istanbul. Another nice thing was they delivered tea to the office twice a day, so that was very nice to experience. Here are a few pictures. You guys saw this one earlier in Rachel's presentation. Yeah, so the funny story, I didn't actually get to travel to Kazakhstan, but we were traveling around Istanbul, and they had this international fair going on during the time that we were there, and we were exploring around, and we got to learn a lot about different countries surrounding Turkey. As you guys may know, Turkey had a really rich history, in terms of being a central hub for a lot of places back then, and it still tends to be. So we were able to experience a lot of cultures from Africa, as well as some Western Asian countries and some Middle Eastern countries. So that was really cool. I did some travels to Cappadocia. We had a lot of time to travel. Cappadocia was actually one of the places where they were going to film the first Star Wars movie. So that was that. There's another picture of that. Did a lot of hiking there. Like I said, the company that we worked for were very laid back. I was actually able to take a whole week off for personal travels. And I traveled with some of the students that I met who we were living on one of the campuses the company belonged to, and it was a university campus, so they had international students, so we got to meet a lot of those people while we were there, and I got to travel with them. This was in Antalya, Turkey, which is in the southern part. These were some of the people who were from all over the country. I got to meet people from Azerbaijan. I got to meet people from all over Europe and Asia, and actually a few Americans that I didn't expect to see around campus as well, so it was really cool. So one of the big things that I got from this internship experience was just being able to meet everybody, especially, even though it was a solely Turkey internship, I felt like I got the experience of basically traveling all over Europe and stuff. So I got to meet everybody from there. The base, I was able to learn a lot about, how to interact with people who working in a way different environment than I'm used to in the U.S. So this was actually my second internship that I've had throughout my college career. And it was pretty different from what I experienced working at Cisco in California, so that was good. And yeah, I would just say go out and do whatever you can to figure out what you want to do. I wanted to do Turkey specifically because I had a lot of friends who were from Turkey and international students from Turkey, and I wanted to kind of see where they were coming from, and they invited me to kind of reach out and go to Turkey, so I decided to do that. So kind of just figure out what you want to do. I know since I was a junior at the time looking for an internship, but still wanted a international experience, I decided to go out and pursue internship experience to get good experience through that. So if that's what you're looking for, then this was a great thing for that. So yeah, that's it. To check right around this. Thank you.
I found my internship through Cultural Vistas. I'm sure you've heard about it right before me. So, just like to go through my application process because I think it's very informative if you're actually trying to do it. So, just about this time last year, I first heard about Cultural Vistas through my German class, and I decided to apply for it. I had about 2 months to prepare the application. It was a pretty long process because I had to get my letter of recommendations and transcripts, a couple of essays, and a lot of some other miscellaneous stuff. And right after I submitted my application.
How many letters of recommendation did you need and from what type of people?
It was just 1 or 2.
Depends on the program.
Okay, I think.
Did you do the ICP?
No, Cultural Vistas, yeah, I said, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That, I think it's just from an employer, one recommendation. But from the other program, I think this professor wants.
Yeah.
But I would recommend you get as many, just contact as many as you can because you will need letter of recommendations for scholarship you will potentially be invited to. So at the end, I think I had 3 from 2 different professors and then 1 from the employer. So just after I submitted my application, also if you have any questions, just during the presentation, raise your hand or whatever. Just after I submitted my application, I had an interview with Peggy and Amanda from Cultural Vistas. It was just a regular interview plus test you on your German skills to see where you're at and to see if you need a language course before the internship, which is also an option for Cultural Vistas. And in February last year, I heard back from Cultural Vistas. They tell you whether or not you got into the program. And once you get in, they start contacting companies in Germany. You also have to have a resume in German. So they send out your resumes to the companies, and the company will tell you whether or not they want you as an intern there. So I heard my first company placement, heard back from the first company in March 2014. And I accepted it. It was Plasma-Tree, the company that I interned at, because it was a pretty cool company. And after that, it was just applying for scholarships, a lot of paperwork between Cultural Vistas and the company in Germany. And I left for Germany in May 2014 for a language course in Berlin right before my internship because I wanted to brush up on my German skills before right before my internship at Aiesec. So that was very helpful. And 2 weeks after the 2 weeks language course, my internship began June 2nd, 2014. So the company I was working at, Plasma-Tree, what they do is they use plasma, one of the 4 states of matter. They use plasma to change the chemistry of materials at the very surface level. So the project I was working on was to develop a low-cost, low-weight solar module through the plasma surface modification. So essentially the way it works is that, so solar modules, what you have is glass on top, the actual solar cells, and then foils, like a plastic foil at the bottom, and the glass and the foil stick together to contain the solar cells. And most of the industry uses volatile chemicals to bind the glass and the foil. What we did was we actually used plasma to bind the glass and foil. And what this means is that you don't have to use the strongest glass that's available, which means cutting costs, and it's also a lot more cost efficient because you're not dealing with it's just the supply chain just goes much faster because this is all automated. So, my responsibilities along with another intern was to essentially figure out what process parameters to use to make sure we get good adhesion between the glass and the foil. because there's no science behind it yet, because this is pretty new technology, and we essentially have to tweak the voltage, tweak the how fast the plasma thing goes, velocity, the height between the glass and the plasma, essentially figure out the process parameters for optimal adhesion between glass and the foil. And I also had to create mathematical models to fit the data with the results we got. And the picture on the left, this is just so plasma, and this is glass. That's how you activate glass with plasma. So a couple of photos. This is me actually activating a piece of glass, and that's a plasma machine. They had a few plasma machines in the lab. Yeah. So this was my apartment in Germany. It was actually pretty nice, and it worked out for me pretty well because I had done a language course right before my internship in Berlin for about 2 weeks. So I was in Germany for 2 weeks before I actually moved to the city where my internship was. So it was fairly easy for me to find an apartment in Germany because I was already in Germany. It was easy to contact people, on that works. And I heard from contacting from the U.S. It's slightly more difficult, but it is doable. So one of my main goals for this program was to learn German, become proficient and fluent in German. So what I did after arriving in Bielefeld, which is where my internship was, I went to the university the next day after I arrived, and I went to the university. There was a university in the city, and I looked at the bulletin boards. I was looking for tandem partners. So tandem partners was essentially, a person you practice your German with, and in exchange they get to learn what you speak. So I found a person. Her name was Tatiana. And we agreed that we would meet every week to essentially speak in German for an hour and then speak in English for the next hour. So that way she would learn English and I would learn German. And that's how I developed my social circle in Germany. She had friends. And this was a photo of us during a World Cup game, because I was there during the World Cup and it was amazing. And another goal of mine, another thing I wanted to achieve when I was in Germany is that I would consider myself a travel photographer / pro-amateur travel photographer. So I actually got to travel a lot after my internship because Germans love vacation, and all the interns at the company had 2.5 days per month. So at the end of the internship, I actually had 2 weeks. I had accumulated about 2 weeks of vacation days. So right after my internship, I just traveled around Europe, to take photos, just to explore. And this is a photo of me sitting in front of the Matterhorn in Switzerland, in the Swiss Alps. That's the Eiffel Tower from under. And that was actually in Bielefeld where my internship was. This is just a wheat field because they have a lot of breweries. They call it Bison. They make wheat beer. And there are a lot of wheat fields. Tips. First and foremost, don't let the cost deter you. Most of the internship, if you're an engineer, most of the internship you will find, they are paid. And on top of that, there's a lot of scholarship and funding opportunities. From College of Engineering, from the German department, if you're going to Germany, from the German Chamber of Commerce. One of my favorite resources is Go Abroad Blogspot. Just Google it, Go Abroad Blogspot. Funding opportunities, I think, and essentially it's a list of all the funding opportunities organized by deadline. So I think that's what I found most helpful during my process, my scholarship funding process. And two, main goals. This whole experience will become much more rewarding and much more valuable if you make those goals. You make goals before you go, and actually actively strive to achieve them. When you come back, you can actually present a balance like this, make goals. And third and last thing is mentally prepare for a lot of firsts. Obviously there will be a lot of good firsts and a lot of bad firsts, but even though they are bad, they're equally valuable because when was the last time you did something for the first time, right? So these are very valuable experiences, first experiences that you'll encounter. Yeah, that's all. Great.
Next week, on Wednesday, is the Fireside Chat on Global Careers in Engineering and Technology that's organized by the ECRC. It is a networking event, so there will be representatives from ZF North America, they were here a few weeks ago, if you had a chance to go to that, as well as IBM, Ford, and Nissan. So even though there are a lot of automotive representatives, because they are such huge companies, it doesn't mean that you have to be a mechanical engineer or, you know, that it doesn't have to, it's not something that's going to pigeonhole you, I guess. So whatever your interest is, I would recommend that you come and speak to them and find out what the possibilities are. There will also be some other past participants who were recipients of the scholarship that you can also speak with. So that's going on. There is an RSVP for that, so you can get onto the COE calendar and RSVP. The second one is there's an International Opportunities Fair that's actually taking place down in the Michigan Union Ballroom. That's organized by the International Center and this greater series called International Career Pathways. That's a chance, it's kind of a one-stop shop, if you will, of different organizations who can help place students into work and internship and volunteer experiences as well. So a lot of external organizations and some internal organizations, but it's a good place for you to go and do some shopping around. And then last one that I want to bring your attention is there is going to be an info session on China Internships with CRCC Asia. It actually is also in conjunction with the LSNA International Internship Office because they are going to be working with CRCC for the China-specific internships. Okay, so we do have a few minutes if people do have some final questions. This is a list of folks. Some people did have to leave because they have exams and things, which is understandable. But if you have any particular questions, please feel free to ask. You can address any one of the panelists now if you wanted to ask